Hey everyone. I know it's been a long time since I posted a YouTube video, and so it's been because we're working on a lot of things for 2025, namely being able to launch campaigns on behalf of customers for absolutely free and within 15 minutes. And that's been the biggest thing that I've been working on. The other thing I'm working on right now is this document that you're looking at right here is our GEX Wrapped 2023 document, and I'm currently working on the 2024 document. Now, this document I tried to write down as much as I could about Outbound last year, and it ended up being about 50 pages. The current document I'm putting a lot of effort into. Right now, the current document is at 90 pages right now, too. So I'm definitely adding a lot into it. I thought it would be fun. I actually haven't read this doc since maybe midway through the year, and I wanted to react to this doc as if, no, I'm just going to react to this doc with everything we've learned since then. I probably still stand by a lot of these things in this doc, and I'm basically going to take this and update anything in the 2024 version that we have coming as well too. And so just come on this ride with me, and we'll just see what has kind of changed in Outbound in the past year, right? And so Growth Engine X campaign overviews. Yes, I did this for transparency. I think nothing is more important in the agency world as being transparent, and then sobering up some benchmarks. And I wanted people to be able to see our process. So all still the same. Cold email is a private ads network. If anything, I believe this to be the case more than anything this year. I really think that I've been talking to teams who manually send emails, and they will manually send emails and they will still get response rates in the range that we get as well. And I think more and more as cold email keeps getting harder, outbound automation is going to become a bigger thing, and you're going to have to start thinking about it as a private ads network instead of this channel where you used to email 10 people and 3 people would respond. I think those days are just basically over. I think the big thing for outbound is when I talk to teams who have really nailed outbound automation, like the teams over at ramp.com, I think the main question for some people is, okay, if outbound automation works so well, why do they still have SDRs? And there's still a lot of things that SDRs need to be able to do, but the SDR team on a per email sent basis will still outperform the conversion of the outbound automation. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, because they're really great at account selection, and there's just a lot of things that AI can't do around account selection. And so what I mean by that is really picking, a really great company and manually reaching out to them because you heard about them on LinkedIn, and then you can say something super awesome about them. More power to the SDR. That's a great thing for them to be doing. Really, really tough for AI and for outbound automated systems to be able to do that. And then the other thing too is, since there's no additional cost to sending emails to the executive assistant and the CEO, then that's why Ramp is seeing the SDRs performing better on a per email sent basis, because they're just spending their time with higher ROI or more likely to respond people. But with that, it's still obviously a great channel for companies like ramp.com. They're investing more and more in it. I'm not sure if I can share how much they invest in it per year, but it's more than any of you might think. And so as we keep getting into that and response rates keep decreasing for normal outbound campaigns, so just saying, hey, first name, and then sending static text, we're going to have to keep using AI. We're going to have to keep using better data, and it's going to become like your private ads network more and more. Our process, yep. So we use a cold email infrastructure, and then we'll talk about the lists and all of this. So in 2023, yes, we were sending 50 emails per day per inbox and putting 2 inboxes on each campaign. And so what I would say here, the biggest difference is now we send 30 emails per day per inbox, and we ramp to 50 if we have a good positive response rate. All of this math is still the same. We don't track open rates anymore. So we're really just looking for, instead of checking for a really high open rate, we're checking to see that the reply rate is above 1% overall, not counting out of office messages. We have 5,562 email accounts on behalf of our customers. Okay, that's cute. We have 50,000 this year. So it really, really increased. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so we have 50,000 inboxes this year. So it really drastically increased. We're still using straight up Google inboxes. Those work the best for us. We use Superwave inboxes here and there, and then we've been adding a lot more Hypertide inboxes into our stack. And so that's basically what it's looking like here. The big change that's not included in this right now is last year we were kind of just setting up inboxes for people as we felt like we needed. This year, what we started doing was we started setting up batches of inboxes. So if somebody said, hey, I want to send 500 emails a day, we would start setting up batches of inboxes so that we could have, say, 3 batches of inboxes. So the first batch, all 3 batches could send 500 emails a day. The first batch was Google, the second batch was Hypertide or Superwave, and then the third batch was back to Google as well. And we would just use batch 1 just so everything else could continue warming up. So by the time you start using batch 2, it didn't just go through a 3-week warm up, it went through whatever, an 8-week warm up or whatever it might be. And then once we get to batch 2, that's when we set up even more Google inboxes as well to just kind of cover our bases. So last year, we were kind of just run and gun setting up domains. And then this year, we're much more organized. For anybody watching this video, if you're not an outbound agency, I would say if you expect to send 1,000 emails a day, keep 50% of your sending volume that you want to keep up to. Keep 50% always warming and don't touch it. So you're going to set up a infrastructure that can send 1,500 emails a day, but you're only going to use 1,000. Just in case anything goes wrong, you can rotate those inboxes back in. As an agency, we just see it as an insurance policy for our customers to just set things up. So anyway, that's just the major difference that got created there. This segmented list stuff, I mean, I love to say the more things change, the more things stay the same. This, if anything, just became more important in 2024, really segmenting this list. I still believe your best email is email 1 and 2. You can at me, fight me, I don't care. Email 1 and 2 are your best ones. Even if you say, oh, I got them to respond on email 7, the amount of people who marked you as spam is just crazy after that. I still like to send shorter sequences. That's true. This sequence structure, we still do. I have a lot to say about campaign strategy that I've already written in the other doc that I'm going to save, but generally, this is what we still send, but there's a lot more coming in the 2024 doc. This lower friction CTA, we already asked them for a meeting on both of these. Going for with a lower friction CTA, I totally agree with over here. We've maybe taken the employee count thing out of this, and then we'll just name 2 other people at the company. But yeah, that's still what we're generally doing over here as well too. And then for your TAM, I still agree with this. You essentially want to reach out to if you have a small TAM, you want to reach out, figure out your math so you could reach out to everybody once a quarter with one sequence. So a 3 to 4 email sequence once a quarter is what we're generally aiming for. And that even if you have a big TAM, you could scale up your volume that way as well too. But that's generally how we're doing the math. For these campaign angles and brainstorming, problem stiffing, definitely agree with this one. We did this restaurant thing. We just launched a campaign where we were helping a company with that does Google review reputation management. Funny way of saying that. We just then found negative reviews on their Google My Business page and then would say, hey, do you want to get rid of some of these negative reviews like this one? And then we would summarize that one. And that worked extremely well. So what we were doing was we're finding a problem. We said, hey, we found this problem. Do you want to do something about it on a performance basis? Crushed. Like I think for every 50 people we emailed, we got a positive response. It worked really, really, really well. These truly funny, relevant campaigns, I don't know. Maybe we just haven't really had customers that wanted to roll the dice with this. I can't remember this year doing this a whole ton. We mainly stayed away from this one. Using AI to help a prospect envision what using your product or service would be like for them. So in this, what we're basically doing is we're using AI to create 3 bullet points of what using the product or service would look like in their business. I believe so much more in this campaign playbook this year, now more than ever. It works so well. It's one of the first campaigns we run for all of our customers. I really love this campaign. If you haven't checked out this video, type it into your browser and leave this video and go watch this video because I think it's one of our best templates that we've ever written. Only reaching out to people when specific factors are true. Okay, so this we're basically looking for, a golden ICP. So multiple things being true about these people. We still run this. I would say most of the times, I would say you could still run this. What we found to be more of the case, it was really, really tough to get lists together where, say, all 5 of these things in this list would be true. And so then what we did instead was we started creating messaging just for the DMARC record on their site being incorrect, and then other messaging for it being the first time they were founder, other messaging if they have a technical background, other messaging if they have a salesperson but no VP of sales, other messaging for their hiring for more salespeople. Because we just found By the time you get all of this done, you're only targeting a certain amount of people. But if you make messaging for each of these, it's relevant enough where you could still get an increase in response rates, but email far more people. And so when I mean relevant enough, I think in cold email, there's a certain sense of outrunning the bear, because at one level, people have to be just in the market for what you are promoting or marketing to them, right? And so we could spend all of our time sending a perfect email where all 5 of these things were true, and then that person isn't even looking for what we want to sell them right now. And so I wanted more shots on goal, and so we kind of got away from this year, and we just outran the bear when everybody else's emails are just completely plain text, and there's no custom variables, and there's no scrape data, and there's no trigger in the campaign. Having 1 or 2 in the campaigns still got us a big difference and let us reach out to more people, so we have a higher ROI on the campaign. Final point on this: will you get a higher response rate if you put all of these 5 things together? Yes. But is it going to be 5 times better, or whatever the magnitude would be, versus just one of these things? No. So we started uncoupling this golden ICP and like stars aligning campaign, and we didn't do it as often in 2024. Extremely relevant case studies. Yes, everybody should be doing this. We use Ocean.io and PandaMatch to find lookalike companies. I really believe in the lookalike play. It's one of the first campaigns, again, we run for all of our customers. When you're running a cold email campaign, you're hypothesizing that I think this company is going to be interested in this message. And when you run a lookalike campaign, you remove all of that and you just say, okay, I know that this company looks like one of our past companies, so it'll be relevant to them. And I don't have to guess on what the messaging is going to be, because this is exactly what the customer said that they love about what our work with them. And so I think everybody should be running these campaigns and investing in software to help you run more of these campaigns. Influencer audience targeting, I would say, so I put this in the 2024 doc. The trigger of the year, in my opinion, is social engagement triggers. Whether they posted on LinkedIn about something or they engaged with the post about something, this is by far the best trigger that you could be using. Clay helps you do this somewhat, but Trigify has become such an awesome platform for us that I would definitely check them out. I still recommend this to everybody, but if anything, it's easier to do. You could do it more at scale with Trigify, and it's just awesome to be able to do. Great lead magnet. I'm never not going to be a fan of this. The only reason it's tough to talk about is because every business has a different lead magnet. For us, like I said, I've been working for the last 2 months on being able to launch a campaign for somebody in 15 minutes, just on a call. And so that's what I've been spending a lot of time on. And we're going to shift talking about outbound services, and we're going to be talking about how we can launch campaigns for people for free and in 15 minutes and get results within 3 days. So I'm practicing what I preach here, and we're going to be having a different lead magnet as well too. Being genuinely useful, of course. 2-sentence email straight to the point. I would say that we did a lot of this as well too. This was one of the things on this list we did a lot of for sure this year. This flash roll thing, I tried doing this more so in 2023, and I would say in 2024 we didn't really do a whole lot of this. You pause the video and read up on what I'm talking about here, but we didn't totally do a lot of this in 2024, I must admit. All right, let's see my copywriting tips. Keep the email shorter than 100 words. Yep, I would agree. 75 is even better, but yep, stay away from spam words. Cool. Clearly communicate the reason you're reaching out. Kind of obvious. Read at a 5th grade level. Cool. Make the message about them, not you. Cool. Use social proof that has quantitative results in it. I mean, I basically agree with everything. We're going to add more tips in the campaign strategy section in the new doc, but of course I agree with everything here. Still agree everything I say in this subject line section. I completely agree with everything. We haven't changed this. Now, the biggest thing that I added to the 2024 document was we will start split testing now the normal subject lines that everybody loves to hate. Quick question for first name, company name, connecting with company, like, or the little bracket thing. I don't know, like this, not that. We'll do that as well. So we will split test those normal subject lines against a 2 to 3 word subject line that would make them think it's coming from a colleague or a customer, and we just see which one kind of performs better. We're mainly keeping our eye on the reply rate these days, though, because we don't track open rates. So yeah. This preview text, if anything, I've been thinking more about preview text in the last year. So that text that they'll get when they open up their inbox on their browser or on the push notification on their phone. I'm constantly thinking about how can we manipulate that to get the best open that we possibly can. Cool. I don't know. Yeah, I guess no, I still agree with this. I think there's a lot of advice on LinkedIn of people saying, you got to go with a really soft based CTA, and could we send them more information, or is this something you're looking into right now about this? I found that if they're interested, you can go for it and just get a hard CTA. We use a hard CTA, asking people for time all the time. And maybe I don't explicitly say, would you want to hop on a call about this? We say more of these things, but asking for people for their time, it works great. Poke the bear, love it still. I think everybody should be poking the bear. Go for it. All right, analogies. This is one thing that I would want to just say. We've totally killed this line. The reason I killed this line is, one, I first thought that this line would crush. And the way I found out that it didn't crush is because any other AI email generation that we would make, people would say in the email how much they loved that we did our research and that we took the time to write an email and all these things. When we sent a AI generated analogy in an email, we never got somebody to say something back that was negative, but we never got anybody to say something back positive either. So we just don't use this anymore. Using their last job as a call out, we still do this. Not totally often, but we still do it. The more I learn about your company, we don't do that anymore, just because when I thought of this, I think AI and email was still nascent, that people would still respond back to me. This was my feedback loop. People would still respond back to me and say, oh, thanks for following up again. I really appreciate you doing research on our company. And we just started not seeing that. So we took that out. We didn't really do that in 2024. This we still do 100%. Focusing on customers line, totally still do this. Is any of this interesting so you can spend more time working with fitness enthusiasts? Totally still do that. I think it's great. I think anybody could be adding that into their campaigns. One thing, as I say with AI all the time, is somebody should be able to look at the workflow you have built for your AI in cold email, and they should not get any value from it. There are some things that you could totally still use, and I think anybody could take advantage of this customer types line and like the creative ideas line. Oh, not that. Wherever it is. Like these, I think anybody could take advantage of these things. So anyway, I don't totally mean there that nobody can use it. This I still believe in. Creative value proposition, are looking to help. This totally still believe in. I think you should pause the video and read this section. This is super true. What can you say in an email that your competitors can't say? Totally agree with this. Handling objections, totally agree with this. Let's look at our copywriting examples. I think that's more important. Sell to job titles. It looks like trying to help. Now, what we're doing is instead of this line today, what we're now doing is we're using Claygen to find the case study and how they helped the case study. Nothing wrong with this line. I think I would still use it. I just don't love that it's 2 sentences and the case study now is 1. This, I still love doing this. Love this, love this. Okay, cool. As they're helping people. Yep, I would still do that. Creative ideas, love it. Cool. We still do a lot of these things. I don't think I would send this email anymore saying, I sent you an email a while back with the subject Outbound Edge. Maybe you know what? Maybe I would, because what I'm trying to get is when you first see that preview text, it looks like they missed an email that was important, because a salesperson usually doesn't send something like that. But anyway, this tactic. Okay, this tactic has changed a lot. So I used to do this, and now what I would say is I wouldn't do this anymore. So there's a couple things that I wouldn't do about this. So one, it looks like your sales team has seen a percentage change in the past 3 months. That doesn't look human, and people would see that, and it just doesn't look human. Like no human has ever said that, and it was a complete oversight for me to do that. So what we now would do is I would say it looks like your sales team has like grown with the addition of, and then we would name people. And then we'd actually name people who joined the company recently. So that's how I would change that. Your LinkedIn company account has gained number of followers in the past 3 months. The other change that I would manipulate here is and probably in this line too, is now whenever we are using data and we're saying, hey, we know this about your company, now in 2024, what we started doing is we started citing our sources, because what we'd often find is, and these aren't great examples because people can't really fight with us about these, but we would say, hey, it looks like you have 52,000 website visitors a month on your website. And then people would email us back, and I literally had a person email me back and say, is the point of this email to be so wrong that you get a response? And I was like, all right, sorry, man, whatever. So now what we'll do is we will cite our sources. So I'll say, Harmonic.ai told me that your LinkedIn company account gained this many followers in the past 3 months. And then the company looks like it has number of salespeople with sales in their title based in the United States today. Sales Navigator told me the company has this many people with sales based in the United States today. And so anyway, still these kind of things. Now with this whole campaign, we're talking all about building customer workflows for them and outbound research and all that. I would just lean on the free test. We've been getting great results with the free test, and we'd probably just do that. This, oh my God, this email is so hard to pull off, but I still love this email. Really, really hard to pull off, but I love it. Taplio. So one of your recent LinkedIn posts, seems like the last time you posted. Yep. I would still send this email today. Still would send this email today. Still would send this email today. I would maybe just cut email 4 and send more emails of 1, 2, and 3. But just the reason I love this is just super, super relevant to what Taplio is offering with LinkedIn automation. So this, I would never send this email ever again. Never. Never, never, never. I just wouldn't send this first line ever again. I would lean into the case study thing that we were talking about here. I would use Claygen to find case studies and talk about the case studies. Taking some of the digital real estate. Oh, I still like this. Companies like competitor are taking some of the digital real estate keywords and space your company ranks for. We could do that. Now we just have the capability with further data enrichment to actually send some company research over to them. So I would probably manipulate this whole email and actually send them competitor insights instead of just talking about giving them a competitor insight. Cool. I think one thing I want to talk about the Creative Ideas campaign is I used to just let the AI come up with the creative ideas. And if you're familiar with the Creative Ideas campaign, you'll know what I'm talking about. But basically, we're going for one campaign or one bullet point. Well, we're going for 3 bullet points with different ideas. In 2024, what we started doing was having an opinion about what bullet point should say what. So we would say this bullet point should talk about this. This bullet point should talk about this. And it turned into way more relevant AI generated bullet points. So I just remembered that. I thought I'd put that in there. Cool. Again, with this, I would do more to show them what we found and not just tell them about what we found. Cool. And I would still, great, like final email. That's totally fine. This, I still totally believe for people who say that GPT does increase your response rates, you just haven't tried the right GPT or you need a different offer. I totally still believe in all of this. Recent fundraise, open jobs. Big change that we made with open jobs is we used to say, hey, it looks like you're hiring SDRs. Now we'll say, I saw in the job post for the SDR, it looks like they're going to be responsible for a thing. We're using the job description of the post a lot more. Recent new hire, great trigger, everyone should use. Tech on site. In the past year, we started using tech on site to basically run 3 kinds of campaigns. 1, to say, hey, you're using our competitor and you should switch to us because we're better. 2, an integrations campaign. So saying, hey, you already use HubSpot. We integrate with HubSpot. Wouldn't it be so great if you use us? And then 3, using a tech installation as just a level of intent. So if a company has installed ZoomInfo, Clearbit, and RB2B, you know they really care about account research or ABM campaigns or website de-anonymization, whatever you want to say in that regard. And so then we won't even say anything about the tech. We just use it to say, hey, we know that these people have a lot of budget to spend and we're going to target them. And we don't necessarily need to put it into the copy. We definitely updated this. You can see a new video on my channel, but we definitely updated the local business prospecting channel strategy. The Clearbit campaign setup, I would say nobody has asked us for a Clearbit campaign setup. Everybody's asking for a Warmly setup or an RB2B setup. Nobody's asking for Clearbit anymore. This we still do. I love this campaign. This we use recent company news but we used to use Predict Leads a lot for the data. Now we're just using Claygen. Yep, we still do this depending on the company. Target people that have never held a position before. We can still do this. We just don't do this that often, since by the time you shake out all the data, it's just not very likely that you're going to grab people. But we still do this. We just don't do it that often. Employee headcount growth increase. We use this as an intent target. Competitor clients, yep, with the technographic data like we talked about. Target people that used to work at your customers and move to new jobs. Love that campaign. If you have a large enough customer list, you should absolutely be doing that. Companies with shared investors, obviously. No dedicated team members for a task. Yep, still do that one. These, Trigify, Scrapely, and no, I guess Trigify and Scrapely make this way easier to do this. Check out Scrapely. Scrape LI is great for doing this. Lookalike, yep, we still use Ocean, testing multiple angles and stacking them in one campaign. Oh yeah, we totally still do this. I love doing that. Let's see, demand capture and demand. Yeah, we still talk about this. Cool. And then we've got benchmarks going in here. And so the only thing I might say about benchmarks is we definitely saw an increase in the amount of emails you had to send in order to get a positive response in 2024, but that's normal. We'll just keep on seeing that probably. Who knows? This year we might even see it level out with all the spam filter changes that are coming. We might see more people exit the cold email game, and then there won't be as much volume sent, and we might see kind of a stagnant year for responses. Or, I mean, it might still go up. Who knows? But we'll see. And so I hope this was enjoyable. We've got a lot of content coming. The main things that I'm working on right now is finishing our 2024 doc, which you could see. Oh, nope, you can't see a preview of that because the Loom is only on this tab. So I'm finishing that up, and then we're going to be making a lot of content. I think a lot of my content has been around tutorials and how to do things, and I want to make more tutorials, but then include examples so that you could do it yourself for as cheap as possible. So instead of just watching the video, you could actually get your hands in it and do it. And I think that's a big thing that's missing in the space right now. So anyway, thanks for sitting with me. If you got to the end of the video, drop a comment, because I really, really appreciate when you guys sit here and watch a 27-minute video with me. And even though it's not about this, I'm thinking about naming this video, I don't know, we'll see. Something about I was wrong in 2023. I got this wrong in 2023. I don't know. We'll put something in there. But now I'm rambling. I just really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Bye.